everybody. It's Super Bravens Escape Crafts. Here we are again. I know, me and my blankie again. It's just part of my thing anyway. uh, so happy Monday, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Oh, this light is. Oh, let me get this. See if I can cover this up. There we go. That's a little better. The sun is shining in. Sorry for the late video, and this is not going to be a long one today because today is actually my son's birthday, and so I've had stuff to do, and sorry about that. And I've been trying to finish this hat. I've been making witch hats feverishly because they've been selling in my shop, so I'm trying to restock. This is my one of the colors that I sold out of my witches hats. So I've been working on them, trying to make, this is the third one I made I did 3 of these and 2 winter hats over the weekend. So these are really fun to make, and they're really fun, and people really like them. And it does stand up straight, and it can be like, you can do whatever you want with them. They are poseable. So that is one of the things that I've been working on. It's my witches hats. You can, they're available in my Etsy shop, or I could probably do a tutorial for them at some point. I just absolutely love them. I think they're super fun. And I've been selling a bunch of them, so people are definitely getting in the spooky season. So I've been working on them, trying to restock my shop so that they're available. So what have you guys been up to? What do you guys do over the weekend? It's kind of hot here. We didn't do a whole lot. Of course, my poor son had to start band camp today on his birthday, so that's why the video is going to be a little short, because they should be getting out of band camp right now. And then they should be home in a little bit, so I'm only going to record until they get home. But I want to see how it went today. But so what are you guys up to? What have you guys been doing? What are you working on? Let me know. I love spending time with you guys. Like I said, I'm sorry I was working on the hat and stuff this morning and trying to get stuff together for my son's birthday today, and so I didn't get a ton of time to make a video this morning, but I'm trying to make one now quick, so before they get home. Like I said, we didn't do a whole lot this weekend. It was kind of hot and yucky, and we worked on a few things. We watched in my 90s or whatever movie, 90s, early 2000 movies with my kids, we watched American Pie. That was, oh my God. Because we kept saying, so the kids, of course, started band camp today, and every time they would say, like, oh, we have band camp, I'm like, this one time at band camp, and they're like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So, over the weekend, I'm like, okay, that's it. You're going to watch American Pie so you understand what this one time at band camp means. And obviously they were a little shooketh. They were not expecting that. Oh, I love that movie. So they did like it. Sorry about my voice. Congested right now. I don't know. They were cutting some stuff across the street at the apartments, and I'm all stuffy now. They were like cutting some of the brush and the weeds and stuff like that, and I could smell it, and got me all stuffed up. So I don't know. Let's see what else. I didn't even watch too much. Caught up with all my YouTubers. I was watching some of they were doing the Boggy Creek auctions on Saturday. I watched a little bit of that. I didn't buy anything because it figures. I went on there because I had heard there was some really good lots of yarn on there, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll bid on the yarn. And of course I turned it on, and they were selling like shawls and stuff like that. Well, I mean, not obviously they were beautiful shawls, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, I have all kind of shawls here that I made, you know what I mean? I don't really need a new shawl. And like I said, they were beautiful shawls that some of the people were making and different. And then there was some Amies and wasn't count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then so I was watching that, and then of course my husband came up. The kids were down in the basement doing something, and I thought, okay, and then he came up, so I'm like, well, I'll turn it off. And he's like, no, watch it if you want, watch it if you want. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna bid. I mean, obviously, I love the Camp Buggy Creek stuff, but I wasn't gonna bid on stuff that like I already make and things like that, even though they were really pretty stuff. I was hoping for like yarn, that they were selling yarn, and then of course he came up, and then we were talking, and I forget what we did. I think we watched a YouTube video or two, and then he had to go do something again. So I'm like, oh, I'll go back on my auction. And then they were selling, she had some blankets and some Amies. And of course, like I said, I mean, I have a million, like, you've seen all the blankets I've made. I don't really need a blanket. And again, they were gorgeous blankets and stuff like that. People that are donating to these causes and stuff are just absolutely, it's really, really heartwarming. But again, I was like, it's not really what I'm into, or what I need, what I was looking for. So then, of course, my husband came back, so I clicked off of it again, and he's like, watch it. And I'm like, no, again, like, it's not stuff that I'm interested in anyway. And then, of course, I'm watching other people talk about it, and they're like, oh my God, not Jax, I can't think of her name from She's Got Yarn too, was selling boxes of 10 pounds of like bougie yarn, and how Matt the Rocket Crocheter got it. And I'm like, that's what I was looking for. But every time I clicked on, it wasn't there. So, oh well, missed opportunity. But I guess they did raise quite a bit of money for Camp Boggy Creek. I forget how much they were saying they raised on Saturday night again. Which, if you don't know, if you're not running in the circles, a lot of the crochet knit community, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's a big project for Camp Boggy Creek, which is it's a camp in Florida. I don't know the name of the town in Florida, but what it is it's for children who have some sort of a illness. They do all kinds of different illnesses, or things that they have wrong, and that probably things like severe illnesses and things, and they can go to this camp for free. And it's a really, 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 really cool place. I watched them do a tour of it, and they have a huge, it's really a special place. Like they were talking about, like, they do a week of kids with all sickle cell anemia, kids with cancers or different autoimmune diseases, different, like I said, different physical disabilities and things like that. And they have a huge medical facility on site. I'm going to put that down for a second so I can talk. A huge medical facility on site with doctors and nurses, so that these kids can get the care that they need 24/7. And then they have like a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of people there, so that they're not, they get the help and assistance they need. And they cater to all the different, I don't want to say disabilities, constraints that these conditions might have. Obviously, like they were saying about how kids with sickle cell are very, very sensitive to extreme temperature changes, and that can cause a flare up, which, from what I understand, is one of the most painful things you can ever go through. So, they're very, very knowledgeable and understanding of how that can. I mean, obviously they can have flare ups whenever, but they really, really try to do things where, like, they can go swimming because they heat the pool up to like 90 degrees so that when they get in, you don't get that like, ugh, you know. And then when they get out, they have counselors who are holding towels, and then they have heat lamps that they can sit underneath so that, like, obviously, no matter how hot it is when you get out of the pool, a lot of times you're like, at least for the first few minutes, and that little bit can cause a huge sickle cell attack. And so they're really conscious of that. And of course, like, doing all sorts of things where, that kids might have, like I said, constraints, that the physical constraints that they just can't physically do, And then they promote, like, all this positivity, like they do, they make these necklaces, and they're called tumbleweeds, and they have a whole bunch of little pieces of yarn in them. And then the kids can pull out a piece of yarn and give it to somebody, like when they do something positive, something that means something to them. And then at the end of the camp, their little yarn thing is empty, but their necklace will be full of the tumbleweed of the tied yarn. And then every camper gets a crochet or knit blanket, hand crochet or knit blanket, and every camper gets a handmade teddy bear. And then they get to take those home with them. And so that's why these Camp Boggy Creek people, these people are always collecting for Camp Boggy Creek. Because it's a really cool, and I mean, who doesn't like doing things to help people? Who doesn't like doing things to help kids? And who doesn't like feel good to do stuff to help sick kids? You know what I mean? Who are trying to just have a normal experience. And like the lady running it was talking about, it gives these kids who have maybe never had what you would think of as like a normal camp experience. They get to experience it with other kids and see, that there's other kids out there that are going through the same thing they are. And, she's like, they'll do something and be like, oh, you have a scar too, and for the first time they get to interact with other kids and almost feel normal, you know what I mean, for that week. And it's really special. I don't want to get all teary-eyed talking about it. And they do like so much positive things to it. It's a really cool camp. And so, of course, like they said, there's the Boggy Brigade, that's what they're called. They collect blankets, and then they take them down to the camp. Like the main one, She's Got Yarn 2 is her channel. She's the one who like spearheads the collections because she lives in Florida, and she collects a lot of it, and then they drive it over to the camp and donate them every year. So it's a really cool cause. And but now they've also said, they talked to the people down there, and they said, of course, with the economy and things the way they are, they haven't been getting as many donations, and they could really use money because like I said, everything they do is what's it called, they have to pay for it because the kids don't pay to go to the camp. The camps were created by, oh my goodness, I cannot think of the name, the guy who has the salad dress, Newman, Paul Newman. That's what they said, that he's the one that created these camps. And so they do get some funding through like the people, like they sell the salad dressing and the sauce and stuff. Some of that money goes to these camps. There's like 6 of them across the country. And they also did say if like they got too many blankets at this camp, that because like all these crocheters crochet for this camp down in Florida, they will send blankets to other camps, And they're all the same concept. They're all the same for sick kids and stuff like that. So it's a really cool concept. And like I said, I was hoping to get some yarn and stuff at the auction. And then every time I went on, it was something else. And I'm like, oh, I missed out. But yeah, it's really cool. Look at You can look it up if you're interested in Camp Boggy Creek. They're, like I said, they're always looking for help and stuff like that. And it's such a neat cause. And, that's something I said, I don't know when these kids are going to come home, but, I love the crochet community and the crafting community comes together so much for, like, all these different charities. Like, I watch so many different, like Matt and Rebecca, Matt, Rock and Crochet, and Fiber Jazz, Rebecca. They are part of a group that they do blankets and hats for veterans called Happy Hats. They donate to this Happy Hats and they promote that, and so many of the other ones, I know, people crochet hats for preemies, crochet hats for cancer, for people going through chemotherapy. A lot of people do that. I've seen a lot of, and then I've seen people recently, like we're talking about, they create like amigurumi, like the teddy bears and stuff and then give them to the police department. And when they have like a kid that they have to take like out of a bad situation or stuff like that, that they can give the kid a teddy bear or something. And they were even saying the one lady, I'm sorry, was talking about she donates blankets for the same reason. She donates them to her local police department. And then if they have, again, like, or a kid who's getting taken out of a bad situation, or women getting taken out of domestic situation, they can give them a blanket. It's maybe something that's a little comforting, to help them. So, it just never ceases to amaze me, the kindness of, the crafting community, trying to help people and do nice things for people, especially with all the ugliness you can watch on the news and the world. And, it is just such a fresh, for me, a nice thing to watch all these people, truly just wanting to help others and use their craft and their ability to just maybe make somebody's life a little easier. I've even seen people who make the outfits for stillborn babies, like so that they can wrap them in, to, obviously that's a terrible, horrible, difficult time, to make it just a little bit easier. And then they get they have something to wrap the baby in, and then they have something for the parents to take home in memory. I mean, like the outpouring, the love, the caring, it's just, it just really melts my heart. You know what I mean? That so many people are trying to do nice things, and they're not like so like my biggest thing is like, so I'm sorry, this glove is like worn half through. Like the Boggy Creek thing. So like these people donate these blankets. Like they're not getting any recognition for donating these blankets. It's not like, oh, here, I donated all this money for this thing. You know what I mean? This is like totally separate, where they're, they don't get any recognition for doing any of it. And I think that's amazing. I love it. So, it's just for a good cause, and just, knowing that a kid's going to get it. And they even said, like, there's specific sizes to make for the Boggy Creek blankets, but if they're bigger, and they can't give them to the campers, they give them to the counselors or the family members that come down, because sometimes they have siblings and stuff that stay. So they will give them to them. So they get their own blanket too. So it's just a great thing. So that was the thing this weekend. Like I said, I didn't get to do Nobody's telling me yet. The auction that I wanted to, but that's all right. And that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to call it today. Like I said, I'm sorry it's a little short today because I'm on a crunch time because they're coming home soon, and Logan didn't get to open his presents yet because he was going to open them this morning, and he's like, no, I want to wait till after I'm done with band camp, because if I get cool stuff, I'm going to spend the whole day thinking about what I got and not concentrate on band camp. I thought that was a very mature thing to say because he's only 15. So I thought that was extremely, extremely mature. So I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Monday. I love you all. I appreciate each and every one of you every time you watch my videos. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you guys. It makes my day. It makes me happy. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday, whatever you're going to do. I should see you tomorrow. And choose love every day, everybody. Bye.